Hi everybody, this is Madhav here from Early Stage Marketing, and today we're going to review the popular freelance management software Bonsai. In today's video, I'm going to cover everything from like my favorite features, how I use the platform, the pros and cons of Bonsai, how much does it cost, and really is it worth buying or investing for your freelance business. All right, so let's dive into it. So I have a paid plan. I think the professional plan in here. So let me just dive in. So once you get into Bonsai, this is the dashboard that you see. And for those of you who don't know, like Bonsai is like a freelance operating system. That's how I like to see it because it basically has everything, and this is like your central dashboard for everything that you're gonna do within freelance. At least that's what they intend it to be. I use it for my own use cases. Now, Bonsai has one of the good things about it is that it has a lot of different tools to help you first of all send a proposal to your contract to your client, and then once a proposal is accepted by a client, send them a pre-made contract, and then from there send them auto invoices, and then manage your projects and time tracking and do initial discovery calls. And then basically it covers an end-to-end solution all the way from getting your first client, acquiring your clients, to how you manage your money that you earn from your clients. That's the beauty of it. So once you go in, it's fairly simple. There are three major things. Like first is you have a client. So so you basically go in, you set up a client. So in this case, I'm just gonna, let's say, set it up as ESM, all right? Or I don't know, yeah, maybe we can just do that. And then for fun, let's just put Star Wars Luke Skywalker. Yeah. And look at Star Wars com. All right. Now you can obviously add tags and everything, but anyway. So that's how you first add a client, right? And then for every client, there are associated proposals, contracts, invoices, right? So now that you have this, you can, obviously add more details in here, right? So for example, like this is usually like because this contact doesn't exist, they don't have any information, but sometimes they might have some information. So in here, let's say let me just add that in here. So ideally, it should be able to get some information out from this. I don't know, but yeah. So anyway, you can basically set it up, and then you can add details, website, everything. And this is where you basically have like all of your projects going on, the notes, invoices, all of the forms. Right? Now, once you've set up a client, so this is one way. You can set it up manually, or you can basically set it up as, automatically through forms. So basically go in here and you can basically set up a form. So for example, usually whenever I start out, right, like I have a form like this one, which let me just show you how it looks like. Yeah, my form is a little bit long. I ask them for their name, email, what challenges are you facing, outcome, everything, right? And by the way, these forms, you can also, there are features where you can, when somebody hits the form, submits the form, you can ask them to pay immediately and then be redirected to a scheduling link. So it really saves a lot of time if you really want to. And then you can, like, this is basically like a like to like replacement for any form builder. You have short text, long text, single, multiple choice questions, files download, anything you really want. It's pretty amazing, right? And then based on whatever the submission is, you can basically set it up as schedule a meeting via Calendly. They have a great integration with Calendly, or you can send a message to the client or to yourself or whatever. You could do that. You could even like send another form if you need to. You can also link to your own another calendar schedule link, so you don't have to specifically stick with Calendly. Like if you have another calendar scheduler, you can also add that link. I'll show you how in a bit. And then yeah, basically have this in here. And you have full control about how everything ends up looking like. You can have your own custom colors, branding, logos, everything, right? And then you can basically see the responses and everything. So this is a great way to start. Now, this form you can obviously you can embed it on your website, send it as an email or a public link. So I use it. I put it on my blog, on my most popular blog posts, and then through that I get forms in here. And then when someone fills up the form, they basically get redirected to my Calendly link, and then from there they can schedule a call and from that, right? But one of the cool things about Bonsai is that they actually have their own scheduling, which is actually, in my opinion, quite good. And I'd say almost to the level of Calendly. Like Calendly, of course, has a lot of options, but it also increases complexity. So in here, you can basically set it up as no matter how many events you want, 25, 50 minutes, 60 minutes, whatever you want. And then you can basically, you can see like what the meetings are planned, basically the upcoming events. And then if you go within it, you can basically set up the URL, the availability, and then settings like don't only book up to 14 days later and all of that. And then like some great branding. So yeah. And yeah, and then I've basically also used my scheduling here and I put that in my form and it automatically shows up. So this is how you kind of get your initial set of clients. So every time somebody schedules, fills a form, a new client is created in here, and then from there, you can go forward. Now, the second thing is once let's say you have a conversation going with a client, you can basically send them a proposal. And now the proposal, creating a proposal is really simple, and I really like the designs in here. So, of course, you can have your own templates if you have a particular style. I'm gonna use their library of templates just to show you what I mean here. Right? Just to be clear, I don't use templates a lot because I'm in marketing. My proposals can usually be covered in an email, but if you're a web designer or if you're a developer or if you have a lot of scope that needs to be given or if there's a large project, this is where it's helpful. So let's say I want to see marketing ones. So you've got like some pretty nice ones in here, and all of this is customizable, by the way. So yeah, like if let's say for example I want to use a content marketing template, then it's going to load up a sample template with the send company name, all of that, and then you can whatever, and it basically pre-fills stuff. You can add in your pricing options in here, and it's really quite good. So when I click on use template, I can like I want to use it for Star Wars. It's called blog proposal. I click on create proposal, and as you can see here, basically loads the style. Now you can change themes, you can set up global style. So for example, I haven't set it up, but I have my own colors you can see in here, right? So I can basically set those up, and then yeah, then it just matches your style. So that's it. And then you can send a proposal to somebody, or you can preview it, or you can download it as a PDF and send it yourself. Best thing is to just send everything through Bonsai. So then everything, like your entire history of the client, is recorded in their CRM. But that's how basically the proposals work. I don't know if I haven't shown you the contracts, but let me just show you the contracts as well, how it works. You can go in here and you can decide a contract. So let's say, for example, I want to give a contract for SEO consulting for my client, Star Wars, right? And let's say it's a blog proposal. So I click on contract and basically identify like everything that needs to be in here for that. You can also, by the way, use a blank contract because it guides you in there, but it basically creates like this amazing piece of contract. And then you can sign the contract and your client can sign the contract within Bonsai. So you can basically sign it in here. You can also have more people, like if you're a wedding industry professional, if you want two client signatures, right, then you can also do that in here. So this is what it looks like. Let's say for example, if you want to change anything in here, that's usually when you can use like a blank contract. Let me also show you that. So this case, I'm just going to use a blank contract, completely editable for Star Wars, blog proposal, create contract. Everything can be edited out, if you want this. You can add You can add a logo. You can choose to not do that. You can add stuff in here. Yeah. So I mean, like, it's your call. Like, just can be like, for example, if you wanna insert a particular table form, like you can basically do that. So you can use a template if you want to start off with something and then edit that, or you can create a blank contract from in here and then add your own elements in here. That's it. Now let's get to once somebody, let's say, accepts a proposal, right? Then you can basically set up invoices. So you can basically set up invoices in a lot of different ways. For example, you can raise a single invoice, a recurring invoice, or a bundled invoice. So bundle means two, three services put together. Sometimes you're working on two articles, sometimes you're working on four articles. If you're a writer, you can basically send different bundles. I most commonly use the recurring service. So it's like a recurring invoice, like once every 4 weeks. Let's take Star Wars, blog proposal, and then it can keep creating invoices up to a certain specific date, or you can manually stop it, right? So yeah, basically I create an invoice in here. And this is the best bit. Like, you don't have to go searching for invoice templates and everything. It'll just create, like, first of all, a very professional looking invoice with a very minimalistic design and just gets in the essential details in there. So my logo is already in. I can also add background, but I don't really prefer that. I have a number for invoices, automatically my address and everything. And then you can add your client's address in here, all of that. And then you can, of course, add things like article writing. This one's, let's say, $700 for the article. If you have tax, let's say, for, I don't know, 5% tax, it basically gets added in here into the total amount. And then you can also enable online payments. So Bonsai can actually accept payments for you. They have this module called Bonsai Payments. I don't use that because it's not available within my region. I'm in India, but I think it's mostly available in like North America, UK, Australia. I think that's where it works best. So if you're in those countries, this will be really helpful. But I think that covering more countries, so hopefully should cover more of those. Right now, what I basically do is I just add in my payment details in here in the notes, and then it works out absolutely fine. But I think if you're using, one of the things I like is you can basically add like a non-compounding late fee, and especially works really well if you have online payments. So like, for example, after 10 days or like a month, they didn't submit the payment, you can add a 10% fee, which automatically keeps getting added to this. So if it isn't paid in a month, this one's going to be $800, which is amazing because it basically it forces the clients to pay on time, which is like a big hassle when you're in freelancing. But and Bonsai has like other cool features, like you can add, let's say for example, you have to deliver some style guide or a mock-up of a product and it's a file attachment. You can add a file attachment and you can lock it until the invoice gets paid. So once the invoice gets paid, the attachment will be unlocked and they can finally see the product. So there's a lot of these cool small things that they've really thought about. And then you can send it from here. You can even download the PDF and then do that. For example, if you're accepting payments outside of Bonsai, you can record payments in here. But yeah, that's how you do it. And you can see they support PayPal, Venmo, bank transfer, Visa, all of that. So this is how you send invoices. So these are, like, I'd say, like the three major things. Like the proposals, contracts, invoices are like the biggest thing in here. They also have time tracking features where you can track time on tasks, that you can also create certain, like you can see here, you can track time, all of that. And then there are various features within time tracking, like rounding of times. For example, if you clock 50 hours, sorry, 50 minutes for a client, it'll automatically round it to 1 hour if you wanted to do that. And it can give you some insights. You can also create services. For example, if you have like a specific set of packages, you can basically send something like, hey, this is the package. And then when you're creating the invoice, you can actually put that package in. So yeah, I mean, I can show you how it looks like. This is actually pretty cool. I've used that quite often. So let's say a single invoice for Star Wars. All right. And then you can go in here and you can start adding the items. So for example, in here, there we go. So if you want to, let's say, add channel support automatically adds everything. Everything's added. It's great, right? And then you have 5% tax. That's it. You're done. So that's basically how the services section work. Yeah, and then of course you can manage your clients in different kinds of views. So this is more of a table view, but you can also create it. You can manage it from a more Kanban style view. Let me just show you that real quick. Yeah. So you can manage your product projects in here through that. You can move things along. So for example, contract signed. I mean, like, so all of these things you can do. There's task management, all of these things in here. You can create tasks, track time to it. This is okay. Like, I mean, very basic task tracking, but if it's helpful for you, sure. And then the last thing, which I don't really use because again it's not supported in India, but if you're in North America, UK or Australia, they're supported. So they have accounting in here. So what I'll do is if you have a lot of payments coming through Bonsai, it'll track that. It'll give you an analysis of like how you're spending, what your expenses look like. They also have like a Bonsai card, payments card, which you can use to pay for all of your expenses related to your business, and then it'll automatically keep getting recorded. So you can know which is like billable expenses that you can later raise for exemption while filing taxes, right? Or you can like basically just have a full view of like how you're spending and which ones you can use to get exemptions from your tax income, right? And it's pretty helpful. So yeah, and then this is where everything's recorded. You have the full history. You can see your expenses. You can see your exact income. So it just gives you a visibility into how much you're earning, how much you're spending. Helps you take more financially good decisions. And then they have another product called Bonsai Tax, which basically identifies the expenses that can be considered for like can be exempted from your or can be deducted from your tax liability. So it's pretty amazing. I don't have that again because it's not supported for non-US. Like I think right now it's just US only, but if you're in the US, this is pretty helpful. So that's the general overview of bonsai. I think like just a quick notes. I think like my top three features, the ones that I use the most is the form to basically get clients because this is really helpful to I'd say like vet the clients before you actually get on a call with them. So you can send over like someone might reach out to you, you just send them over a form, they'll fill in the details and then a call is scheduled. And then you have that prior information before you getting on the call. And then sometimes you can decide if it even makes sense to get on a call with that client because I mean this gives you that information beforehand. Then the other thing that I use quite a lot is the scheduling. I use a lot of these scheduling links again because again, if I have a meeting with a client, be it coming through my form or through LinkedIn or wherever, or through like a manual like email referral or something, all of that gets recorded in here. And to be honest, like the booking page looks pretty good. So I mean, in case I haven't shown you that, this is what it looks like. It's pretty good, very like no bonsai branding anywhere. Like this is completely you. You have your own logo or whatever you can add, and it's like any good calendar scheduler. And then like, so I mean I use this quite a bit. And then the third thing I use a lot is the contracts and invoices, and especially the invoices because I have to raise invoice with all of the clients I work with, and sometimes these recurring invoices like reduce at least like half an hour work every week. Oh, sorry, every month. And also the contracts just allows me to like the legal part is already taken care of by bonsai, so I don't have to worry about that. Like I think like for me, like my favorite are really the form scheduling, contracts, and proposals. I think these are the ones that I use the most within bonsai and I'll probably get the most value out of it. Just to discuss, like I think like let's talk about the pros and cons of bonsai. So I think the pros are really that first of all, it helps me look like a Fortune 500 company to my clients because I mean, like when you have everything organized, everything in one place, and everything just has like a general similar look and feel to it, like your clients think that all right, this person's legit, which helps me just look more professional to my clients and then ultimately get more business. So I think that's definitely a big pro with bonsai. Then I think the other thing is that because it has just so many tools within it, like you can let go of a lot of subscriptions. So, for example, with the scheduling feature, you can let go of your Calendly subscription. With the forms feature, you can let go of your Typeform subscription. Then with the contracts, you can let go of your Panda Docs or Signaturely subscription because every signature, everything's in there. You can, with contracts, you can let go of your whatever contract tool that you're using, contract signing tool. With time tracking, again, you can let go of your toggle subscription. And all of these costs like really reduce things, right? Because everything costs money, like be it 5, 10, 15, $20, everything. So I like that everything's Bonsai just provides all of the tools in one, and I just have one small subscription to pay. And I think all of their tools are quite good, and I think they get the work done and they connect everything together so all of the data flows within this CRM. I think the third thing that I like about Bonsai is they have quite frequent product updates. So to just show you what updates basically look like, I don't know if it'll take me to that. You basically see it while logging in. All right, so here's what it looks like. The change log, you can see it's time tracking improvements. You can collect payments when clients book you. There's a lot of updates in here, and it's pretty frequent. So I really like that about Bonsai. And then I think the support is just amazing. Like they will help you like anything, and then I usually get a response within like 2 hours. It's pretty amazing. And I think the last thing is just I really like the whole positivity that comes out of bonsai. You've got like this beautiful view, which is not very complex, very simple, minimalistic. But there's also like this greenery and all of that. It just gives me a very positive feeling about my freelance business. So I think these are like the pros that I feel about bonsai. Let's talk about the cons. So I think Bonsai has a mobile app. So they have an iOS and an Android app. I use the iOS app. It's great to check on your time tracking or the invoice status or contracts, all of that. But I think it's a little lacking because you can't really create contracts or invoices using the mobile app. It's quite basic. Let me just show you the their app has great reviews, but again, it's more like to track time to projects, see invoice status and everything. But it's not the full featured app. It's more like a preview app, if I may say that. So I think their mobile app can definitely be more featured. Then I think the second thing is just I find the UI to be slightly slow. So for example, if I go in here, right, you can see it takes a while for things to load a little bit, right? I just wish it was more instant. So I think that is a bit of a con. The other thing I would say is that I'm not a huge fan of their time tracking and task management. I think it's very basic. I don't find it useful, right? So I can can add hours, I can turn on the timer, but then again, sometimes what happens is I turn on the timer, I forget it, and then 2 days later I notice that hey, I've clocked 48 hours to my client. So it's I don't see a lot of value in this one. So I think like they could improve on their time tracking and task management. Again, like with the tasks, it's not a I mean it's a very simple task manager. I would love something more like a Trello functionality. So until that happens, I'm still using Trello to manage all my tasks. And then I think the last con with Bonsai is just the accounting is limited to specific countries, these accounting features. And I would mostly they're supported, like I said, in North America, Australia, and UK, but I'm in India and I can't use it to track my expenses income. I can't use it for to manage my tax deductions. I understand that every country has their own laws and taxes and all of that, but I guess it'd just be nice to use it in my own country. But again, this is a con for me specifically. If you're in US, Canada, Australia, UK, you shouldn't have to face this problem. So that's I think that's the only last con. Now let's talk about Bonsai's pricing. It's pretty good, I would say. So, for example, it costs starts at $24 a month. You basically get everything in here. You can also, by the way, I forgot to mention, you can have your own collaborators. If you're working with some subcontractors, you can also add that. And they basically have like a limited view of within Bonsai. It's pretty good because for $24 a month, I basically eliminate like five, six apps, put them all together, and then I get additional features on top of that. Right there, I don't have to pay for a contracts app or a proposal app or an invoices app or a time tracking. Like everything's covered in one subscription. So for $24, it's pretty great. I would definitely, if I were you, recommend the professional plan because the workflow automations are a real game changer. Because they just, like I said, I used one automation where somebody fills the form and then they're sent to my scheduling link. And that just saves me a lot of time and filtering through bad and good clients. And of course, Calendly integration, a Zapier integration, and a QuickBooks integration, and all of those different things, right? So I would recommend the profession. I think the business plan gives you a lot more stuff. I think that's more like when you are really working with a lot of other contractors. This is more for like agencies. But if you're a freelancer, definitely go for the business, for the professional or the startup plan. So is it worth buying bonsai? I think it absolutely is. Like I've been using it for many years now. I think since 2018 or 19, somewhere on that. And I've used it with regular clients. Like I've used it with big clients, I've used it with small clients. I'd say like big freelance projects and small freelance projects and different kinds of projects. And like it's very versatile that way. And it's actually like, for example, for just $25-$30 a month, if I can come across as a more professional business, reduce my hours every week and reduce my subscription costs, like I think there's a clear value add. So if you're considering bonsai, you should totally go ahead with it. Bonsai competes majorly with like all of these single apps, but they also have their own competitors like Dubsado and Honeybook. I will create separate videos for those in the future just to give you a comparison between those two. But if you're considering right now to purchase bonsai, like, please go ahead. I think this is fantastic. Now, if you enjoyed this video, if you found some value out of this video, please consider buying or subscribing to Bonsai through my affiliate link below. It helps me create more of these videos for you, and yeah, and I'd be very grateful for that. But anyway, I wish you a great week and thank you for listening to me in this video. All right, take care.